Hey, badass business owner. So you want to start a house cleaning business. Well, in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through the steps that are necessary for you to be able to get your business off the ground. So we're just going to take a little peek at some of the things that you need to make sure that you're keeping in mind as you make this big decision. All right, the first thing you need to do is you need to make sure that this is the right business for you, because you're going to be spending an awful lot of time doing it. And honestly, cleaning and doing cleaning isn't for everybody. There's some people that have a deep passion for doing it, and they're going to end up loving it more than somebody who's I'm okay with it. Because if you're just okay with it and you're not really good at it, then you're going to not do the best job that you could possibly do, which means that your business is going to have difficulty growing from word of mouth, because people will need some basic cleaning, which you might be okay with. But if you don't love it, and you're not into cleaning bathrooms and toilets and sinks and all that good showers and all that other good stuff, you're going to have difficulty sustaining doing the business because you don't love it. And two, growing the business because people are going to be dissatisfied with what it is that you do. So it's really important that you enjoy that. Now, before you do anything else, once you decide that this is for you, is you need to do your research. This is probably the single most important thing that you could possibly do before starting any business, because it's going to save you time and it's going to save you money, both of which are very important. Now, what are some of the things that you need to research? Well, we're going to go over three key areas. One is your competition and what it is that they're doing. Two, the legal requirements that you need to do to open your business. And finally, the monetary needs that you might have, but more on that here shortly. So the first thing you want to do is you want to research your competition. It doesn't matter if they're a big company, a small company, multiple trucks or not. You need to find out what it is that they do that they don't do very well. Why, we all want to focus on the fact that, hey, they're so big, they don't mess up. Yeah, they can be big and still mess up. So what is it that they don't do well? But also, what do they do well? Because people are using them for a reason. So big or small, what do they do well? Maybe it's the fact that they can do services late at night versus just or early morning. Maybe they don't stick to the 8 to 5. Maybe it's the customer service. Maybe they go the extra mile and they throw in the windows for free. Whatever it is, you want to find out what they do poorly, what they do well. And because the main reason that you're doing this is because you want to find out how you can stand out in all of this. Okay. Now, some other things that you're going to be looking at is the quality of the products and services that they use. For example, there's some green cleaners out there which are very important to some people. That might be the avenue that they take, but it also might mean that they don't do the mopping the same way, vacuuming may not be included. You need to just find out what their quality of their products and services and what do they charge for those products and services. What's included in the basic clean, what's not included in the basic clean, for example. This is not about a race to the bottom in pricing. Your goal is not to be the cheapest person out there, but you want to be competitive what it is with what your customers want and what your competition is offering and what is being covered. That's the biggest thing you want to do. You don't want to be just another house cleaning business. You want to focus on the pain point you solve so you can stand out. So for example, most people who use a cleaner, why? There's a reason that they're calling someone. Maybe if you're going to focus on move outs where people are moving in and out, well, you're focusing on somebody getting their house ready to sell, and that's going to be the pain point that they need. If it's somebody looking for a weekly service, it's somebody who just doesn't have the time or energy or resources typically to be able to do it. So if you can focus on exactly which pain point you're trying to serve, don't try to be something for everybody. Try to focus on one pain point. It's going to help you grow that business. Now, you also need to look at the legal requirements for you to start your business. For example, do you need to do an LLC, which is a legal entity, or just remain a DBA doing business as? Each state will have certain criteria that you have to have for each of those. Now, I will tell you for this particular business, most people are fine doing a DBA unless you get so big. I would probably do it for 6 months. Make sure it's something you're really going to do before you get too crazy into creating an LLC. LLC is more about protections and additional protections on yourself, but you're at this stage trying to figure out if you're going to do it. A lot of folks in the cleaning business are out of business within 6 to 12 months. So you want to make sure that this is truly going to be what it is that you want to do. You need to look at some other legal requirements that are probably going to be required of you. One is, do you need licensing? Do you need permits, insurance? Each city county, and state are going to have their own requirements. So don't assume that you can just go start cleaning without any of these things. Now, I'm not saying people don't do it, but it's important that, especially if you plan to make this a real business and full-time business, you need to look at all these different things for your protections. Now, as far as funds needed, the good thing about this particular business is you don't need a lot of money to get going. Most of the equipment and products that you need, you already have in your own kitchen. But you do want to sit down and you need to jot out how much money you're going to need. For example, you may have an old vacuum at your house and you might need to buy a new one. You might need to buy some certain pieces of equipment, but for them, nice for folks like yourselves. Now, the other thing you need to make sure you're looking into is how you're going to get paid. You want to are you going to do invoicing, bidding on jobs? Are you going to do your own accounting? Is someone else going to do it? Same thing with your bookkeeping. At the end of the day, you want to get paid. And I can't tell you how many people go do a job and then they fail to send the invoice to get paid, especially if you do work with realtors or people that are moving and whatnot, and they're not paying on the spot to pay you. So it's real important that you have a process in place for getting paid. Also, marketing and branding. How are you going to let people know that you even exist? What's going to be your marketing plan? Make sure that you write this down and you have a plan for how you plan to get the word out about your business. Now, earlier you've heard me mention a couple of times real estate agents. Real estate agents are great people to partner with because they're constantly getting requests for people who do cleaning. And like I said, so many people go out of business in the first 6 to 12 months. It's a revolving door for them. So they're always looking for people. So it's one of the great ways to get your foot in the door. Also, when you're looking at your advertising, you're going to look at free advertising versus paid advertising. Free is going to be word of mouth. Your Google business page, you absolutely need to do one of those. A Bing business page, Facebook, realtors, networking. There's all kinds of things that you can do to get the word out that you are in business. Save for later if you're going to do any paid. I think honestly you're not really going to have to run any Facebook ads, postcards, flyers. If you can get in with a few people, this is a business that takes off through word of mouth. But just in case, you want to just kind of have what's going to be your initial push to get your business out. How are you going to get that word out? You need to make sure that's part of your plan for getting ready. Hiring people. In the beginning, you're probably just going to be a solo person, but because these are jobs that can take on and you need to have more people, you need to make sure that you're hiring the best people. You're training, you're onboarding them to your standards and your expectations. And how will you pay them? Are you going to use a payroll company or are you going to do it yourself? For some of you, you're probably just going to pay them by job as an independent contractor where you're not necessarily hiring them. You're just giving them the pay and then they report it on their end. But at the end of the day, these people represent you. So it's really important that if you're having anyone help you out, that you are doing your homework. Now, once you have all this research done, what you're going to do is you're going to pull it all together to what I call a success blueprint or a success plan. Some people ask, do I need an actual business plan? Really, no. Traditional business plans are really for borrowing money from a bank or buying a franchise. But for the vast majority of you, you just need the success plan. You want to take all the information, you still want to jot it down, and you still want to write out a plan of how you're going to run your business, how much money you're going to make, what you found out about your competitors, basically taking all of the information that you've been researching, dumping it down to create your success plan for your business and how you're going to get it off the ground. Now, one of the biggest things that you need to do is you need to understand business numbers, because one of the problems that I see in this particular business is people go do a job, say they charge $250, they pay whoever helped them out, and then they put the rest in their pocket. That's not how we run a business, okay? That's where you've really created a job for yourself, not necessarily a business for yourself. So it's really, really important that you understand and learn your business numbers, because you need to understand pricing, markup, margin, profit, and loss statement. These are just some of the few of the things that you need to understand, because if it's just going to be job to job and that's all you're trying to do, that's one thing. That's not really a business, like I said. But if you're really going to try to grow a business out of this, you've got to understand those business numbers. You need to understand a profit and loss statement. You need to create one. Earlier when we talked about bookkeeping and the systems, you can do it manually. There's programs out there you can use. They're relatively cheap, and you can invoice your customers through them, and you get this cool profit and loss with it as well. So you just need to make sure that's part of your research and that you're looking into, and you're learning the basics of your business number. Remember, you are running a business and not creating a job for yourself, and that's really important, and that's one of the biggest takeaways I want you to get from this video. Now, if you want to learn more about any of these, check out all the YouTube videos that we have out there for you helping to get your business going. But there's also a couple courses out there that can help you out. One is to start a small business, you go to startasmallbusinesscourse.com and it'll walk you through all of these different steps in more detail, and also knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com, where we help teach you your business numbers so you can understand those. But at the end of the day, if you like what you see, make sure you hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit the like, and we'd love to teach you more stuff. Now get out there and be the badass that I know you're meant to be.